Well, welcome back. I did promise at the beginning of 2023, just after we had the solar panels installed and the batteries, an update as to where we were, because it was coincidental that it was good timing because all the prices of everything went up. So yes, for those of you old enough to remember this, this is the add-on to that We Go Greener section. So as promised, 1 year on, 1 year's worth of figures. Let's have a look. Did it work out or did it not work out? Actually, before I start on all this, a little brief recap as to what we did. This actually started in Easter 2022, and what that was Fiona changed her car for an electric car. What that actually meant for us is we needed to charge the thing at home, which also meant changing our meter from an ordinary box standard meter to one of these SMETS 2 smart meters. And then once we had that, then we could have a Zappi installed. The reason why I chose Zappi as a manufacturer, which in My Energy is one of their products, is that we wanted an eddy connected to a solar panel system that we were going to have on the roof with batteries in the garage in order to run the whole lot so that I could see it all on one app. That's why we went down that route in the first place. So spin forward to the latter part of that year, was the installation of the solar panel system itself. And then in the middle of December, the whole thing went live. And now, when I say went live, it went live with our current electricity supplier, because the plan was to move to Octopus to run the whole lot and also pay me for sending power back to the grid when not being used by me. But just a kind of a preface before you see the Excel spreadsheet. You know, after Putin decided to do what he was going to do, my resilience, if you like, or my reliance, not resilience, reliance on gas, was obviously quite keen not to be able to use that, hence the solar panels, and moving as much stuff as we could to solar instead of fossil fuels. That also was the driver, and obviously saving money. Now, the saving money bit was probably quite key as well, because before all this started, we were paying as a dual fuel customer around about £200 a month. A 4-bed detached family home. My last energy bill was £585 per month. That was in the November, and we switched over to the solar from December onwards. So you can see where we are now. So let's dive in now. The first thing you need to understand is that kilowatt hours is the energy supplier's method of charging you. Now, a single item, like a kettle, will be graded in terms of watts. Several items, kettle, dishwasher, washing machine, will be graded in terms of kilowatts because you add them all together. Now, you would have seen yet another grading scheme, like on the front of washing machines and dishwashers, where they have a grade efficiency, like a grade C or a D. And what this does, it tells you how efficient the item is. For example, an A++ light bulb, for example, would be extremely efficient, whereas a grade Z, if there was such an animal, is horrendous, probably looking at an old tungsten bulb. So the third thing that derives from the fact you now know that is that cost. So it becomes an obsession to find the best and cheapest way to do things. As a rule of thumb, if it heats up, it's going to use more power than things that don't. But that's not the whole story though. Large ticket items that don't heat up also use power, and probably lots of it, like charging the batteries or cars, for example. And so moving all this stuff to a cheap rate or when it's free is kind of paramount. That's how are you going to save money on this. But there is a couple of things I just want to highlight first. and that's this cost bit, because I might as well deal with that at the beginning. So if you look at column E there, £585 a month is what I was paying right at the beginning. Now, the reason why I've got 267 there, this is because of what Octopus decided to charge me. So we moved to them. I told them I had solar. I told them I had batteries, and I was moving on to one of their EV tariffs because we had an electric vehicle as well. So they said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll start the direct debit at 267. I didn't even tell them what I was paying before. They said 267 is what we're going to be paying now. So 585 less 267 gives me a saving of £318 per month. Cost me £16,000 to install all the solar panels and the batteries, installation, extra warranty, yada yada yada. So the whole lot, 16 grand. So I took the 16 grand divided by the £318 per month I was going to get. So that would take me 51 months to pay that 16 grand off. That would take 4.25 years to do it. As you can see, 4.25 years. I thought, well, that's a bit of a no-brainer then. I'll go ahead and get this done. Okay, so let's have a look at the beginning bits of this grid. So column A, needless to say, obviously it's a month that we're in. The bit that I became more interested in over time was column D. How much power in kilowatt hours per month? But then every single month you can see what it was that we're using it. Now obviously some months were higher than that. And then see that column B, the ones in red? Those are the worst days. I mean, look at that one in December. It was just gone. 91 kilowatt hours it was using. Right? But then you have to weigh it up, because we had things like electric floors installed and gas radiators removed. So therefore the cost of the electricity removed the cost of the gas that I did have. So then you have a look on column E, which is solar panels themselves. What power were they generating? So, you know, if you have a look at this one in July, for example, or even in our summer, 24 kilowatts is what the house used. The actual solar panels generated 26. And also, I was exporting as well back to the grid. So I was beginning to make money. As you can see there, between 23:30, half 11 at night, and half 5 in the morning, they only charge you 7.5 kilowatts, whereas normally during the day, or any time from half 5 up till half 11, right, they'll charge you 30 pence. So it's more beneficial for us to say, I'll tell you what, see that tumble dryer, let's fit it up, but actually not on delay start it until like midnight. So therefore it's using their 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour instead of 30 pence. So it's 3/4 cheaper for not just the dishwasher, but any appliance that can have this delayed start function to work. I mean, 3/4 cheaper. That's a lot. And also, as I found out as well, get the batteries, if they're not completely full anyway from the sun, go and get them to charge up between half 11 and half 5 in the morning. Not that they'll take that long. For example, this is September last year. The average power requirement from the house still hovering around the 30 mark on average, but sometimes it was over, as you can see down the bottom there, 34. And the worst day that month would be that bit in red at 72. Maybe that was the day when we had everything turned on. This is going to be different for every single person, but it gives me a bit of a flavour as to what we're doing there. Generation then is from the solar panels, and then exported, how much of that? Now, let's talk about export. Let's go back to that summary slide again. So the export. So when it first started, they were only paying me, I'm just going to highlight the actual bit there, they were only paying me 4.1 pence per kilowatt hour. Now this is because of all the wholesale prices and the way the things were going. But Octopus then changed their tune in a nice way. Instead of paying me 4.1p per kilowatt hour, they put it up to 15 pence per kilowatt hour. So as you can see in the column I there was the amount that I was generating and earning from just sending power back. So as you can see in green, it started going to £23 was my best, right? And then if you have a look at the beginning of the year, I mean, obviously January, 0, then 68 pence and 1, but you're not going to make an awful lot of money doing this. But in total, 100 odd quid that I'm sending back to them, and it cost me nothing to do that because the solar panels were generating power, going into the batteries, and then whenever it was full, just send it back to them. That's what that was doing. Which brings me on to the notes section that's in this. I'll just bring that down a bit so you can see it, my notes. So the highest monthly direct debit, so you go to the top of the screen there, this is for c&mc. Obviously nothing was being exported, didn't really have solar going on at that stage properly anyway, but they were saying, right, your next direct debit needs to be £585 a month. I go, no it doesn't. We then switched to Octopus. We set the batteries then to charge. The direct debit by them was set at £267 a month. So March came through, that's the £1.64 one, that's March. And then I did some other things. We took our fridge, for example, our fridge freezer. In fact, there wasn't a choice, that actually broke down. It was a class F fridge in terms of its energy use. So then this made us start looking at some of the efficiencies of it, so we then be able to move to a C grade version, so that would use less power. Now would you believe this, at the same time we were actually having our conservatory replaced with a proper extension, and that had 2 electric thralls in it, and remove 2 gas radiators, which we did. Then I had an email from Octopus, that first section in yellow there, saying we'll be cutting prices from the 1st of July. I don't think I've ever had an email from any utility supplier saying we're going to cut your prices, but they did. I went, well, that's not a nice sign. And then we move on to the 2310 option now. You can see I've got another email from Octopus saying we're increasing our export, which is the bit that I alluded to earlier, going from 4 to 15p, so they were going to be paying me more. I've then got yet another email from Octopus saying our rates from October the 1st are reducing by 8%, and they're going to move to the new Agile tariff, or checking the wholesale price every 30 minutes, right? So that's even brilliant. So I at that time, we were over £1,000 in credit. I'm just going to move this up a bit, you can see that. Right, and because of that, I thought, now we're going into the winter months, so let's take that 267 down to 217, right? So saving even more money, so yet another 50 quid. And also the underfloor heating is on because it's that time of year. Yes, I know that it's costing me more in the kilowatt hour usage, but then I'm saving on the gas because I haven't got that on so much. And because the government have removed the energy price cap, all the prices are going to go back up again in January this year. What is quite nice to see is this one at the top. So this graph at the top. So 28th of October, you can see it's electricity for meter on Saturday. Right, and you can see on the graph there's elements of it which are, being used, they're charging me for, but look at the times, right, before it then kicks into this full price tariff that you're seeing here. And as you can see, there's nothing being used. Well, a very small blip, right? Somewhere probably around about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and then nothing in between. Now, we are not perfect. So if you have a look at the 29th of October, right, the following day, we forget to turn an awful lot of things on to just cheap rate, right? And using, delayed charging or washing stuff, putting the dishwasher and the tumble dryer on when they don't really need to be, right? We just forget to do it, right? So as you can see, it then begins to charge us for stuff in hours, like 11 o'clock, well, for the rest of the day, still going on. And so, what do we do in 2024? Well, you have to bear in mind that we are an extremely busy household. Filling the washing machine up and then remembering to press the delay timer on and working out how many hours that is before it kicks in at midnight and stuff. Same with the washing machine. But some things go out the window. Some things have to go out the window. I mean, if the washing machine has to go on and the tumble dryer because it's chucking it down the rain, you have no choice. You need clothes tomorrow, got to be done today. Octopus do help in so much that they have a cheap tariff and for quite a long time, so I can charge the batteries back up. Certainly in the winter they will need that. In the summer I'll be exporting quite a lot, which is good. The my car has also been changed for a hybrid car, so that does need plugging in as well. But both my car and Fiona's car have an app. Also, the Zappy charger we got is fairly intelligent. Not fairly, it is intelligent in so much that it knows what type of car it is, and it knows that I can charge it up overnight during the cheap bit. So that happens as well. So I'm paying either zero or next to nothing to run around with those cars, which is great. Now, couple of things I know that underfloor heating is expensive, but then I have less reliance on gas. So, the more and more, but that's, I'm not going to change things just for the hell of it as well. The cooker we have is still working. It's a dual fuel model. Effectively, in terms of gas, that's all I should be using. Oh, I forgot to mention the other My Energy product. It's called an Eddy. So what that does is it takes any solar power that's coming in and heats my water up for me rather than importing that from the grid. And this is happening whenever it can in the summer. I mean, the water's so hot, you can, and constant, you can have showers all day if you want to, but then you'll be paying extra on the water rates. That's another story. They've decided that they're going to be putting their money up as well. But anyway, that's what we need to do in 2024 is get better at it, which I'm sure we will do. And when appliances get replaced, they get replaced with more energy efficient ones, and they also get replaced with ones that can be delayed if needs be. So there we go. I hope you found that useful. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.